really frequent due to human activity, it overwhelms the cycle of succession. It causes a lot of damage. It actually allows invasive species to take hold in a lot of parts of North America, especially on the eastern side of the Cascades.
Look at that sheep.
But as long as we use fire responsibly, whether for recreation or for industry, we'll be able to not only keep ourselves safe, but to keep our wildlife and their habitats safe as well. And the bighorns, the bison, and you and I benefit from that kind of action. And so that was a bachelor herd. During the year, the Roosevelt elk, when they're not during the rut, which is from September to August, they're going to be spending their time separately, well, except for these young males. You can see the spike walking through the cows there. Once the rut begins, the bachelor herd will return over here, and they're going to start competing with one another for breeding rights to the females.
It says in North End sometimes.
And that can get pretty intense. They actually will form a harem, and they'll do their best to make sure that none of the other males get access to the females that they've won. And then after the rut is over, those antlers are shed off, and the whole cycle begins once again. And as we come up here, there's going to be a bighorn sheep ram, actually, in a couple of them. One of them's in between these two Douglas firs, and there's actually 2 on our 9 and 1 on our 3 here. 1 on the left, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, 1 on the right.
See him? See him?
I'll dub these guys Dodge Rams.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, that's right. I know there's some horns.
Oh, hey, bighorn sheep are the largest of the 2 wild sheep of the mountain goats from the Olympic National Park, and they partner with the Northwest Trek, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and other organizations. Unfortunately, 5 of them weren't able to return to the wild. Those 5 kids, they got separated from the nannies, their moms. So they came to live here at Northwest Trek, while the rest of them were released into the wild in the Casper herd of Roosevelt elk. These are the more mature bulls, and you can tell that by the size of their antlers. They're still growing, and you can tell that by the velvet. So these are shed and growing every single year, and that velvet helps to protect the antler while it grows. It's blood rich, actually has blood vessels and nerve endings in it, so it's sensitive to the touch and can be injured quite easily, actually, but it protects the antler. At the height of the summer, when the days are longest, they're actually sensitive to the changes of light, and that's the signal for the velvet to come off. And they need to rub it off, so they'll rub it on anything, rocks, stumps, trees. Historically, you could find bison from northern Mexico up into central Canada, and from the Chesapeake Bay of Virginia to the Willamette Valley in Oregon. 60 million of them roam the Great Plains in massive herds. But unfortunately for the bison, beginning in the middle of the 1800s, after the American Civil War came to an end, they were very much a casualty of that conflict in the aftermath. In 1865, after Appomattox and North and South came together once again, the Transcontinental Railway was built deep across bison habitat on the Great Plains. The railroad brought along settlers to settle out there, build farms where the bison had once been roaming. But then also along with the railroad came professional hunters. One of them was named Willie. I guess whatever works for you, whatever you're into, if you're a bison, I don't judge.
Cookie, he's a big boy.
Now there's Kendra. Hi, Kendra. Over there waiting for us to go by. I've talked a lot today about history, things that have happened decades ago or centuries ago. What happened for the bison, the Roosevelt elk, the bighorn sheep, and all those other animals is happening right now, thankfully, for the woodland caribou. There's a breeding program up in British Columbia that, if it's successful, will hopefully one day restore them.
We got sleeping bobcats. Hard to see. I think about animals like bobcats and like they usually nocturnal. So they're probably not used to being nocturnal today. But I've been paying attention to my trail cams videos, and sometimes I do get bobcats in my own backyard. Sleepy. These guys are shy. Sometimes you can't see these guys here. There's right there. There we go. That's all. There's a lynx in there. lynx action. I dub him Zelda. Zelda the lynx. Yeah. What I noticed about lynx compared to bobcats is I think lynx are actually twice the size of bobcats. I like bobcats are bigger. Although I've got to see a lynx in a while. Yeah, it's in bobcats sometimes. In bob. It's in. Yeah, it's down there. Look, there he goes. Check it out. There's a fox. Yeah, but no first tracking. I'll show you. Yeah. Huh, he's doing this, man. There's a hit and miss this time. Fish. No. Check out this fox. Look at that. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. I guess I'm worried. A little blurry, but you can see him.